fast forward yini kuma a channel so I say GH Politics Avenue. Podcast also finna make headlines and a jimre na yedi bi exomo awa ani di ahombraksemo se ene ed kan ya stress help you subscribe to the channel. Hit notification bell no so share na for from so insert into it. Community me ahombraksemo ni ayemo Rawlings simu. See queen simu quick forward. A year Zenator Rawlings and I'm not say what me atintesio e dey ego a year in judicial system no so a watch say adenti na pote adenti enam obi ekuwia mefa ne say bia petitive okuwia enoma bia se bia so se bia nyado ensombo enso se nipa no ne man stiffer punishment a enya asem kotoa ne ejeli bi 15 years 10 years okuwia mobile phone enso politicians itimi diponi a enya asem kotoa kra na enam se omkuta tumi eni sikenti no na omu punishment no na akoye mefa ne say misdemeanor like boniketu bi a yehuni say boniketu bi yes na yasoso sabon so a se nipa no kra bokum kra no na yasan dai ejai no we no na no etum se obi bia waye boni bia a waye politician emra no eni wudi a enya asem koto akra na me no ka sei ye mu article ni hwe ne yeko eni de ba na if you also ye be san ko yensem fufuro mu na no so ye de amamo e wo channel yi so ha sei AGH Politics Avenue but that's is what jemre e wo ha sei.
This is an automatic reading of the article, Why Jail a Petty Offender, but Spare Thieving Politicians? Zenator. The Korol-Klati MP, Dr. Zenator Rawlings, has questioned the justice system, contrasting the harsh punishment meted out to petty offenders with the impunity enjoyed by politicians who mismanage state resources. Speaking on Joy News podcast Talk No Day Cook Rice, she recalled a trader who was jailed for 2 years for damaging part of an overpass, asking why politicians who commit far worse offenses walk free. Is it too harsh? I'm not going to comment on that, but are we going to be able to do that to a public servant, a politician, who does the equivalent of damaging that where a road should have been built and it wasn't done, it's full of potholes? They got the money. We can't account for how the money translated into a road being built, but they are walking free because maybe they supported someone's campaign, she said. Dr. Rawlings warned that such double standards weaken democracy and fuel public disillusionment. You can't expect that the citizens should do the right thing. And yet, those who are given higher levels of responsibility and greater access to the nation's wealth are held to a different standard, she argued. The lawmaker also pointed to poor infrastructure projects funded with public money but unfit for use. She cited a recently handed-over building at the Adabraka Polyclinic by the Coastal Development Agency. Have a look at it and tell me whether that is a building that should have been handed over to the clinic without even the involvement of the medical staff, who could at least have advised whether it was fit for purpose. Money was spent on that building, even the painting job. I think that some kid in class 1 would have done a better painting job than what I saw there. She linked these failures to a wider culture of irresponsibility among both leaders and citizens. When you don't have leadership that is willing to bring the people along as well and expect more of people, you create a feeling of, well, what difference does it make anyway? She said. For Dr. Rawlings, true governance requires discipline, integrity, and tough decisions. She contrasted Ghana's lax systems with countries like Rwanda and Singapore. You cannot take plastics into Rwanda. Simple as that. You are not allowed to chew gum in Singapore, whether you're a visitor or a VIP, no exceptions. There are certain tough decisions you have to take in order to have governance be good, because you can have bad governance. She stressed that good governance is not just about elections but about delivering dignity, safety, and accountability to citizens. What are the things that you're doing for the people? That is, you're delivering on time. You're making sure that the dignity of their citizen is respected. You're making sure that working conditions are good enough. You're looking at the roads and making sure that the number of people who are dying in road traffic accidents is no more than the number of people who are dying of disease in hospital, because then you have a problem, she said. Calling for higher standards in leadership, she insisted that those who fail to serve with integrity must be removed. We have to, at some point, draw the line and do what is right for the people of Ghana. Source, Abu Bakr Ibrahim also read.
Ghana first, I have a very short take to do again, and I'm asking JM, disrupt to restore. Your reset agenda, you must mean it. Like seriously, you must mean it. When I hear you talk and say it's not going to be business as usual, I understand that to be to tour this country in the last 3 weeks, touring the country, sleeping in the regions, and interacting with citizens, discerning citizens who are concerned and who want this country to move forward. And this is a tour by the team set up by yourself, the about 60 member, committee that you ethics and anti-corruption action plan. The National Anti-Corruption Action Plan, the one for the last 10 years, expired in 2024. So there's a need for a new one. And you put up the team together from civil society, reputable people from our justices of our Supreme Court, Attorney General, offices, the likes of Daniel Domelovo, very respected civil society leaders, as you can see in your shot. You put all of them together and give them a work. That this is important to you because corruption is eating up this country. I dare say, corruption is hemorrhaging this country more than Galamsey would ever do. And I'll show you evidence shortly. So you say this is a priority project for you. And under the auspices of the anti-corruption office in the Jubilee House, led by Professor Francis Dodu, they're doing the heavy lifting. And they've got all these respected people. They get them to go to retreats, spend a whole week brainstorming and asking what can be done to solve the problem of corruption. The Constitution in Article 35, Clause 8 says the state shall take steps to eradicate corruption and corrupt practices and abuse of office. And these people have spent their time. When I leave my office for a whole week and I join this team, pro bono, when I can make money sitting in my office, I feel it is important and we need to play our part to get this country back on track. The people I have met, they are depressed. They are very unhappy about this broken system. This system that is broken. And it appears to be designed to frustrate the honest man, the honest worker. I put up a post that this is a broken system by design. It is built to bleed the honest worker. For 3 decades that I've become socially and politically aware, I have watched a system deliberately left broken, engineered for fraud, sustained by fat salaried officials who have never missed a paycheck, not for a day. You find them in there, not fit for purpose, yet padded with perks. Yeah, padded with hefty perks. Meanwhile, the nurse, the teacher, the junior doctor, who hold the nation's spine, are left unpaid for 10 months or more, some 13 months. And I listened to that nurse speak about the frustration she's going through. How do you expect her to survive? 10 months, she's trekking from, Pantine to Kolebu, and she's doing it honestly. Only to be told, we appreciate your efforts. These officers are the Controller and Accountant General, at the Health Ministry and the various departments, at the Ministry of Education, at the GES, All of you who claim to be leaders and are making fat salaries every month, you look into the eyes of these people and give them lame and lousy excuses. That's not what they put you in there to do. That's not what they give you all the comfort to do, to give them excuses, such lame and lousy excuses. No. They put you there to fix the problems, not to pay ghosts. People you see dead, you attended their funerals, and you have been paying them for 26 good months, dead. In any functional society, a society that is not dysfunctional as ours, these people will stay at home and will not suffer any penalty. They will return when they have to return, and they will gain an interest and a compensation on all the years. And as I make the post on social media, I see many people 10 years back, 15 years back, talking about how it took them 15 months, it took some 2 years before they began to receive their first salary. In this day and age, someone is employed and it takes you more than a year to get them their mega salary. When you are feeding fat, this is not where you expect these people that you have guilted into endurance and punished for their patriotism. It's just not right. This is dysfunctional. It's design. And this is not delay, it is betrayal. You were put in there to fix the problems and not to continue to give us excuses. We live in a country where a small girl, a young girl in school, has a headmaster, assistant headmaster, fondling her, and photographs are being taken. And a member of parliament, someone who makes laws, sits on television and says that was consensual. It doesn't matter how much you deprecated it, for you to say this was consensual. And now people are debating what is the age of the girl. When they put a girl in a school, the teachers, the school act in loco parentis, in place of the parents. You don't go fondling them and come give excuses. The country is rotting to the core. I have met people who say they are looking for a disruption. And I say, JM, the onus is on you. Disrupt this system. Those people at the education and health who are giving excuses for the people who have not been paid for 13 months, they shouldn't be sitting there doing their job. These are problems they can fix in one day. The Auditor General just told us 10 million has been recovered from what? Unearned salaries. He's looking to recover as much as 150 million. People are stealing and we are watching. Our ethics are broken and the corruption is swallowing us. Your big push agenda is 10 million that you are put on it. Every year you are looking to spend 13 billion, it's 10 billion. Every year you are looking to spend 13 billion Ghana cedis out of the 10 billion. Each year this country loses 3 billion. Now we are told it's about 5 billion US dollars to corruption, to the thievery. 3 billion. That brings you to almost 40 billion Ghana cedis. 5 billion lost, unaccounted for. That brings you to almost 63 billion Ghana cedis. We have everything it takes to solve the problems of this country. We are the largest gold producer in this Africa. We are the second largest in cocoa. And what do we have to show for? Unemployed people, people skilled, looking for jobs. Not that they are not skilled, people educated, but they can't find jobs. President Mahama, don't let this be business as usual. Kick all this fat salaried, not fit for purpose, belly, people who are just draining the country and doing nothing Just kick all of them out. That's my take. The 12 people who are being investigated by OSP and who have actually been arrested, questioned, and granted bail, except Sledge, who couldn't fulfill his bail conditions and was detained. These are the matters that are attracting the OSP's attention. But let's speak to it. About this particular one by the Imam.
Let me also make another point. And clearly, you've held right to that proof, and it's admitted that 7.2 that they put out there is a counterfactual. The other word for counterfactual is phantom. It is not a loss. The only loss that has been recorded on paper by Bank of Ghana is 2.14 billion cedis, which I have a document from Bank of Ghana I've shared with you, something, for basically to talk about it. But you know what? Since Bright did his beautiful presentation, for me, I cannot do that because the document I'm going to rely on is basically documents that are subject to confidentiality. So it will be difficult for me to put those documents in a slide and share with the public. But I will read contents of those documents as I go along in my presentation. Let me make this quick fact. I want to now dwell on 3 areas. One is to let everybody watching and Bright, Imani, and everybody know that the gold for oil, everybody that took part in gold for oil went through proper due diligence. Bank of Ghana undertook what is called a KYC, and those companies were also sent to the FIC, the Financial Intelligence Center, for them to basically screen these companies. There are 2 letters that I would basically share with the public, the contents of it, right? One where Bank of Ghana rejected the company, and one that Bank of Ghana accepted the company when Bank of Ghana did their due diligence. Now, the second part will be the process by which the gold for oil processes went through from BOST to MPA to Ministry of Energy, then to the Bank of Ghana. Then the third part will be to discuss the environmental the idea of people trying to pollute the public with certain ideas that a program that basically came on board reduced premium from $150 to $80 to $50, from $50 to $80 was a bad program. These premiums we talk about are premiums that affect you and I, our pocket. But let me go on to discuss the due diligence that happened. Look, when the government, through cabinet, came up with gold for oil, it was not a program. They seemed to be obsessed with BOST. My brother Bright said that this program was done on behalf of BOST. No, it was never done on behalf of BOST. Those that ran the program was MPA, Ministry of Energy, and Bank of Ghana. BOST was only an agency of gold for oil. Anytime BOST wanted to do anything, BOST have to write through the necessary channels to get approvals. But let me now start off by reading you one letter. There is a company that, in that document that I call frivolous, a company called Cibet DMCC. Okay? When you look at, there's a document that's from Bank of Ghana on the, okay, there's a document from the Bank of Ghana. I'll give you the date. On the April 12, 2024, Bank of Ghana wrote, letter of engagement, onboarding Cibet DMMC onto the gold for oil. The above subject refers, please. We are pleased to inform you that Cibet DMCC has been successfully screened for anti-money laundering and combating and financial terrorism with the necessary Know Your Client KYC conducted and can be onboarded as a fuel supplier under the gold for oil. Now, this is a company that also got approval from the FIC that they can be dealt with, because the FIC screened them among other companies so that they can be, and anybody who cares to know, my brother Kojo Chimbwafo has all the files in FIC, they can go and ask them. Now, let me give you another letter, which is strange to know that there's a company called Goldstream Global. Now, Goldstream Global, recently, on the September, some date in September, right? 9th September 2025, Gold Board, this current Gold Board, have signed a $1 billion investment deal with Goldstream Global. It will surprise you that Goldstream Global was turned down by Bank of Ghana when they did their KYC, when they wanted to be part of the gold for oil. Now, I'll give you on August 8, 2024, Bank of Ghana wrote to BOSS saying that the bank has reviewed the request from your institution on onboarding Goldstream Global as a fuel supplier under the G4O. After careful consideration, the bank does not recommend Goldstream Global as a supplier under the Gold for Oil. This same Goldstream Global today, Gold Board under the NDC has signed a 1 billion contract with them. But under the Gold for Oil, Bank of Ghana rejected them. So look, this will tell you that there was a process in place where some people were subject to proper due diligence of Bank of Ghana and proper due diligence by FIC. Now, when the company is onboarded and they've been agreed to supply, what they do is that, look, as any other international oil trading company does, and in that document, they talk about people, single sourcing and all these things. Look, companies that supply products into Ghana, nobody does due diligence on them because it is a private transaction. Bulk distribution companies goes around to find their suppliers. I see that document talks about Netwise. Netwise today is supplying products into the market for BDCs. The way our downstream works, before a product enters our market, before a ship berths at the port, the ownership of that product has been transferred to a Ghanaian company, which is a BDC. So the issue of whether companies can perform or not perform is a purely private and commercial. And BOST, yes, companies were writing to BOST to be part for Gold for Oil, but BOST on their own.
Wing any Samahuru Timiko Swatch and also Pamna Sodium or had a sense of body and the Adumbi Edumania. When you ever say shame near some consum.